Bleh. Same old animations and elemental effects. They just stare at each other blankly and shoot particle effects on a flat plane. I just want to see something more lively and natural, you know? Like Pokemon in their natural habitat. Like if they existed in real life. There must be something that technology can provide. Oh, internet, help me. God. Oh, here we go. Pokemon Go. A simulated Pokemon experience where you go and find them out in our own real world. Oh, this will get me exercise and give me lots of natural Pokemon movements and habitats. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. Oh, yeah. So many trees. Where is this? I mean, it's just a Magikarp, but it's a shiny one. Oh, well, I'll just keep following my phone map. Phones are always 100% accurate. Yeah, I think I just have to walk 10 more feet forward this way and... My back! I mean, who's really into Pokemon that much anymore, right? I've got much safer cliffsides right here. This game gives you the chance to relax and see multiple Pokemon from many different habitats, all in a quick amount of time. And they actually talk! The only Pokemon game with monster voices! And it's 25 years old! That's one of the reasons why Pokemon Snap still deserves some love today. And talk isn't cheap. We're going to discuss all the hits of Pokemon Snap in this episode of Gaming Introspection. Good to see you, gamers. Shep here again from Gaming Introspection. Today marks the first Pokemon-themed retrospective I've done. And what a bizarre game to start with, right? Pokemon Snap was an obscure N64 title released in 1999 that I suspect was thrown together last minute to capitalize on the peak years of the initial Pokemon craze. It even shoehorned Todd, the lamest character that the anime had seen up until that point, in as the hero of the story, while Professor Oak acts as the tutorial character who also judges the quality of pictures of cute and cool-looking Pokemon. Join me as we examine all the hits of Pokemon Snap. It's apparent soon after you start Pokemon Snap and you see a psycho, demonic two-headed bird dashing out of nowhere and meows trying to hunt Pidgeys for food. This photo tour isn't going to just be you taking lazy photos of Pokemon that stand motionless and pose in their 2D sprite designs from the Game Boy games. Yeah. Okay, that was a bad example. But seriously, the animations come to life, and for 1999, the polygonal models were very convincing designs of children's beloved video game characters. The colors are saturated, the field of view is wide and open, and Pokemon are able to do different actions, as well as react to different distractions you provide, like playing a Poké Flute, throwing apples or Pester Balls at Pokemon to see how they react, and more, which we'll examine as we go. The actual information of Pokédex entries and constructed lore come into play too. Vileplume exudes a vast mist of pollen that obscures this Cubone landmark. And when you use the Pokéflute, it dances, which falls in line with the behavior of its Bellossom evolution. So it's cool to see this in action, possibly inspiring Bellossom, who didn't even exist yet. Jinx is another Pokemon that responds in lockstep with the Pokemon entry data, and it's cool seeing them hypnotically bob and weave in rhythm in order to hatch one of the legendary bird trios. Similarly, Snorlax wakes up when you play the flute, which is how you need to remove it from the root in the original Red and Blue Pokemon games. Okay, sorry, Fire Red and Leaf Green. Ugh. When you encounter Electabuzz, it's quite aggressive and ornery, getting in your way as you navigate through the cavern tunnels, falling down angrily when you pester it, and even trying to attack you with its thunderbolts later on in the stage. And this reflects its disturbed nature within its Indigo series highlight episode. Conversely, peaceful Pokemon are as good-natured as we expect, with Eevee joyfully playing with Chansey, a Pokemon that nurtures and heals. Jigglypuff is harassed by this coughing, who is represented in a villainous role, which drew cheers from the kids who were fans of the cartoon. And if you manage to save Jigglypuff, it'll sing for you, even with backup vocals if you can save both of them. And it'll puff up angrily if you interrupt it, just like the cartoon once again. Elemental and behavioral archetypes populate the courses. Geodude and Graveler cling to the cliff sides, displaying their blending behaviors in order to stay inconspicuous, while Sandslash digs underground before bursting up from it. In perhaps the most accurate and stunning example, Slowpoke evolves when its tail gets chomped on by a Shelder, though I still have no idea why the resulting shell looks nothing like the Shelder. It looked like this 1 second ago, and now suddenly it's a virtually inanimate spiral shell that has lost its freedom of movement and its own willpower. What a tragic fate! That Shelder's life is basically over. Look at the luxurious lifestyle of a regular Shelder. They are apparently free to exist, both surging through the refreshing current and also flying free through the endless expanse of sky, with other members of their crustacean clan called Cloyster clamoring constantly. What a blissful, fun life that would be! Perpetual excitement, making fun of anything and anyone with that hilariously oversized tongue. You throw it all away, and now you're a permanent ornament on the dullest, most brain-dead Pokemon in existence, who can't even bother to blink when rude bastards throw fruit at it. Why would you abandon such freedom for an eternity of imprisonment? It's not like the resulting Slowbro nourishes it in a symbiotic give-and-take relationship. It just sits there. What the hell were we talking about? Authenticity. Authenticity, yeah, that's right. So, rare Pokemon, they actually are tougher to find, just like they are in the main games. Dratini is rare enough as a dragon Pokemon, and very tough to get set in the frame just right. And it takes some experimenting to throw Pester Balls into a whirlpool a few times in order to summon a Dragonite. If you manage to photograph the elusive Staryu a few times and light up its core gemstone, it'll also use that whirlpool to show itself off as a brand new Starmie. And yet, some cruel treatment is needed, as for some reason, Professor Oak
loves seeing Pokemon in distress, and sometimes even laughs at a Pokemon's peril or predicament. That Electabuzz just got blown up by an Electrode, and I happened to get a picture of what was almost its last moments. Show it to the professor, and he's like, "Oh, it fainted. 800 points!" I knock out a cute, innocent Vulpix, unconscious with a Pester Ball, and Oak just loves it. Hundreds of pose points for that.
The photographer gets tons of credit and adoration for what was borderline animal abuse.
I didn't want to make it fall over in claps. I was told these Pester Balls would be useful for Pokemon that were hiding. It didn't warn me about all these what look like poisonous fumes or side effects on these poor creatures. Here's a poor Jigglypuff, slowly getting suffocated by toxins, helpless. And Oak's like, "Well, that's a shame, but here's 1,200 points." Magmar's convulsing on the hot, unforgiving lava ground, having a seizure, and Oak busts a gut. That's so funny. Come on, have a heart. In the same stage, I'm rewarded for hitting a Charmeleon in the same fashion. Yeah, can't get enough of Pokemon almost dying. What's worse, I smack it with an apple, knocking it into a molten crater of lava, which apparently makes it evolve into Charizard? Those apple foodstuffs are powerful. I give a Doduo a concussion with one, unceremoniously plunking it down to the ground. And Professor Oak, he's just delighted with me. Oh, it's about to wake up. It's as if he's trying to hide how much he loves seeing this poor thing look like roadkill, but the points prove how much he enjoys this pain. Look at the score difference between a healthy and unconscious bird.
Well, that was just cruel. Let's be better. Let's encourage kinship and kindness for all Pokemon. Oh, look at that. It's a Magmar and a Charmander. What a great opportunity. I'll toss some food towards them and they can munch and enjoy it together happily, just enjoying each other's company. Enjoy the food, you cute fire Pokemon. I hope this paves the way for a wonderful friendship. Good Lord! A cute little Charmander just wanting a bit of a meal, and then Magmar burns it to hell! What? And then that brutal attack also results in the little fire Pokemon evolving? What kind of message is this to send to kids?
Hey, Pokemon fans! Throw whatever you can at these creatures. Hit them into pits, drown plants in mineral water, make them fight over resources, get them killing each other, and you will be amazed. And that's not what happens in any of the canon games or stories. If Magmar actually attacked a Charmander, well, that's it. It's all over. It doesn't evolve into the next form. Oh, maybe this isn't as authentic as I'd envisioned.
You know what benefits that authenticity we just covered? Something that really immerses the player in the journey? There's voice acting in Pokemon Snap. No joke. Almost every single one of the monsters is matched with their original voice actors from the Indigo League anime series, and most of them have different inflections or tones or quotes depending on the action that's occurring. What? Why has this not been done in any future Pokemon game? Snap is 25 years old, and it's still the only one that voices the Pokemon.
Pokemon Stadium was so hugely anticipated by the fan base. It came out less than a year later, and this was before the internet, so I was really excited to hear all of them cry out in emotional fury as they let loose in tournaments. The title screen itself says right there, voice compression technology by Factor 5. So I'm thinking, damn, they must have worked ridiculously hard to put all kinds of Pokemon battle cries in. You fire it up and...
Let's get started!
That's all we get! Yeah, all of that voice compression technology, its purpose was to stuff in some fuzzy, hard to hear, awful announcer voices that repeat over and over.
It's burrowed underground! It's burrowed underground!
Even Pikachu doesn't vocalize in Pokemon Stadium. Speaking of Pikachu, it's the only Pokemon that ever speaks up in any of the future games. Sword and Shield is a fairly recent entry, and they're still using the same damn beeps and buzzes they did on the Game Boy pretty much. A system that was released in 1989!
Almost before I was born. And I'm old! How hard is it to pay the original actors to say their one word over and over with a few different inflections and speeds?
The anime has continued to have Pokemon talk in this manner. So why not now? I realize we're up to about 1,000 different species now, and I'm not saying you need to voice every single one of them, but at least make an effort. It adds substantial amounts of charm when you hear the adorable, lazy, slow drawl of Slowpoke. Or the cute, high-pitched, happy squeak of Charmander. Reminding you of why you picked it over Bulbasaur or Squirtle in the first place.
It's astonishing how dated and lackluster Game Freak's efforts have been since Pokemon Snap. If we look at the credits, it clearly shows how many of the anime actors poured their souls into... What? And others? What kind of accreditation is that? What is that like? I know. That'd be like if you took the AVGN episodes and while you're watching it, it says produced by and starring some random guy instead of James Rolfe.
Why did Ikue Otani and a few other voice actors get voice credit, but no one else? Every other game with voice acting lists a full credit list, even those who do the most minor of roles. But here, in a game with almost equal parity of workload besides Otani, it's just, and others. Wow, maybe that's why the voice actors walked away from any future video game involvement. I would too. Professor Oak even has a few small one-liners.
Welcome back. See you. Wait, here is a present for you.
And though it's used sparingly, again, it's still more than almost any other Pokemon game. The sequel, which is a very gorgeous game with a lot more variety, is still 25 years behind this ancient N64 game when it comes to Pokemon personality due to the lack of voices. You be the judge. Which of these genuinely feels the most Pokemon to you?
I rest my case.
You might argue the sequel sounds more realistic, as if you're actually within a real-life nature habitat.
Well, guess what? Pokemon is not realistic. It's a world that has little fire pigs running around and snorting flames out of their noses in order to roast apples to make them more delicious. A whole generation of us grew up on the standard that Pokemon communicate by saying their own name, using a variety of syllables and pitches. So keep it the same!
Since we're talking about the sequel and voice acting, I don't have the evidence here because I've already beaten the game, but the throwaway human characters in the sequel, which are about as appealing as a diseased Eradicate, are given fully voiced dialogue in the story cutscenes. And yet, when you go out into this lush world, all you hear are digitized beeps, farts, and growls. It's the ultimate piss-off! No one cares that these pubescent kids are excited to explore, or that Todd Snap, yes, that is his actual name, Todd Snap, finally aged into a 20-year-old after 22 years and speaks actual words.
Nice.
The Pokemon are the stars! But the lack of attention to their audio quality would make people think otherwise. There's only 7 main stages in Pokemon Snap, but a run never finishes with you taking the exact same picture twice. Due to the constant motion of your vehicle, combined with the action of almost all of the Pokemon, every attempt is challenging because the assessment is very stringent, judging how well you execute your shots based on 3 main areas. The first thing you need to do is get the Pokemon close to the middle of the frame. This is crucial. If it's even slightly off-center, sometimes that oak prick will just forfeit the rest of your score, even if your monster was doing the cutest or rarest thing imaginable. So you damn well better make sure it's centered. Next, you'll be awarded many different bonuses based on the actions of the Pokemon as I just mentioned. Pikachu's cuteness, yeah, it'll always get you points for its poses. But if you make it jump onto these tree stumps, or save it from this Zubat so it magically, spawns some balloons and floats, then you'll get tons of more points. Meowth is funny and gives you some good totals on its own, but try and give it a concussion and piss it off, and you'll get a lot more. Or make it dance, like on the anime series, to give it even more points using the Poke Flute. There's actually a lot of different animations and behaviors for each monster. Check out Bulbasaur's genuine joy when feeding it the apple. That's gotta warm the coldest of hearts out there. But it can get pelted by pester balls and show annoyance too. If you try out new things on the stages, you're usually rewarded. If you want more Charmander power, send out an apple, it'll call over its friends for a feast, and you can get bonus points for having multiple Charmander in the same shot, which is a feature you can use with multiple Pokemon, especially those who are naturally found in clusters, like Kakuna and Metapods. Metapods are another example of where pester balls come in handy, giving you a much better quality shot when they investigate your harassment. Throw that same ball into these erupting craters to make Growlithe appear. And if you can get all of them, it summons the impressive Arcanine to give you an amazingly cool shot. The Poke Flute even has multiple songs, which result in different dances for Pokemon that react to it. Even Magnemite react to the flute, giving you a rare moment to snap them before they go blurry on you. Late in the game, Oak gives you a kind of turbo engine that lets you drive your vehicle twice as fast, and this mixes things up a lot. Kakunas naturally fall down and rise back up in the cavern. So haul ass with your booster so you can get there just as they descend for the best quality shot with tons of other Kakuna close up in the frame. You can get to locations before events normally happen, giving you a totally different angle for shots. On this course with the Squirtle, you can quickly zip close to them and herd them onto the shore for a group shot. These Squirtle reactions are the best. If you ever wanted to see what a Pokemon would look like if they consumed a bit too much bubbly, well, there you go. Must be some addicting stuff in that water, eh? Haha, just kidding. But it does give that impression. It can backfire though. If you go too fast, you'll miss events completely. Meowth gets attacked by Pidgey here in a cool battle sequence, but if you turbo through, it's just standing there. The apple food, the pester balls, the pokeflute, the engine, you're given these things gradually, which means you get multiple runs of each of the courses with a whole new approach to it. And it really does change quite a bit as you find those rarer, elusive Pokemon and get fun new reactions from the ones you've already found. You may have gotten used to exactly where the Pokemon routes are after multiple run-throughs, but when you adjust your speed continuously with the turbo engine, it throws a lot of that out the window. Like here, let's abuse that poor Doduo again, using our turbo to get right up close. I can't believe how Oak pretended to be. Oh! What? He's completely shameless now! Look at that! Oh, you hit him! 1,300 points! This man should be stripped of his title! How can a Pokemon researcher find this much joy in Pokemon's pain? Chop Oak down!
Well done.
My God! Another feature that increases the game's replay value is the album.
In a game like Pokemon Snap, you want your best or rarest photos to be remembered. The most iconic photographs of all time are deemed so because they have that impact on the viewer.
Pokemon Snap dove into the N64's meager memory reserves and carved out just enough space to give players a primitive virtual photo album. You could not only view your cherished photos from days gone by, you could caption them with wholesome and nostalgic memoirs, or you could make it a bit more evil and caustic, representing the more violent moments of natural Pokemon life with crudeness and a dose of hilarity. Either way, your favorite memories could be immortalized. The business side of Pokemon also exploited the craving for gamers to not only keep physical copies of their best photos, but share them with friends. From November of 1999 through 2000, Blockbuster stores across North America were equipped with Pokemon Snap kiosks that enabled gamers to print out postage stamp-sized, full-color printouts for about $3 a sheet.
You could store your printouts in an actual photo album if you wanted to, or you could swap them and share them with friends, all while giving Nintendo a few extra $1 million. It was win-win! Well, sort of.
It can be addicting to try and revisit your favorite Pokemon actions and poses, adjusting your timing and angles just enough to get it perfect. Especially ones like Haunter, who you can't even discern where its face is precisely until after the fact. Luckily, there's a handy retry feature, which is especially useful if you fail to get the shot or Pokemon you want, getting you back to the start quickly. If you capture your desired moment, you can end your run immediately so you can get your pictures evaluated. So it's very user-friendly, cutting out some dead repetition time as you go for the bonus missions, like finding the Pokemon signs in each course. Much like the core games, this was made to be very addictive, to make you try just one more time.
Well done.
The Pokemon here are portrayed in such a thoughtful and fan-appeasing light. They're crude, early 3D polygonal models now, but it's remarkable how much they still pop on the screen, even playing this game today. The controls are smooth, it's intuitive, and gives you multiple reasons to go back. I recommend it on the Switch if you're interested.
However, things weren't picture perfect, even back then. There were just as many failures that kept Pokemon Snap from being the best there ever was. Tune in next time, and we'll examine all the misses. Keep your camera ready, gamers, and thanks for watching.